Mhm.
So welcome to another tapa in our series of tapas for Viva, for the Viva event coming up in Spain in November. And I'm really excited to have with us Gabriela Maldonado Montano, one of our wonderful, wonderful keynote speakers, who also happens to speak Spanish because she's Mexican. So we're really excited for her to be coming in and doing some sharing in Spanish for us. But today we're going to be recorded in English, you'll be happy to hear. And really, as you know, as if you've been listening to our series of tapas, you'll know that we're here to give you a flavour, it's kind of a sneak preview of what's coming up at the Viva event. So really, Gabriela, if I'd just love you to share. We were talking earlier on, weren't we, about how understanding how people function at a foundational level, how that has really, really helped you in staying centered, I guess, not feeling the burnout, not feeling the overwhelm, the stress. Maybe not all the time, but most of the time, as most people do, who've got that role of helper in their lives. I just wondered if you, because I think that's beautiful what you were sharing with me earlier, and I'd love to capture that on video so we can share it with other people, if that's okay with you.
That's perfect, Sheila. Thank you. Well, yes, as you mentioned, this is one of the center areas of my life. This area of the health of the helper and how to stay inspired as you're trying to help others without what we often refer to as burnout. Has been actually, before I started my career, when I was going to university, was one of the things that came up for me very early on. And so the reason why is because I'm, one of those people that by the age of 14, I knew that I was going to be working with people. I like people, I like connecting to people, I like hanging out with them, and I really like the idea of offering something that would help them become self-sustaining in their lives. Excuse me. So I live in the Silicon Valley in California. I went to San Jose State. And as most of us do, I had to do internships when I was in the later part of my university studies. And in entering the field, one of the things that I noticed right away is that there were some people that were doing the job that were almost drowning, experiencing work with distress, with lack of energy, with lack of enthusiasm, seeing clients as the source of problems, and just really overall having a terrible experience of work. And when I first saw this, it alarmed me because there were some statistics that were pretty prevalent that said something about burnout is a fact of life if you're working with people, particularly if you're working in the area of alcohol and drug use, any kind of prevention, social services, teaching, etc. And if you look at the statistics, they're very common that people will feel a sense of burnout. So I also noticed at the time that there were some professionals that they had been working just as long as the people that were feeling burnt out, but they were inspired by their work, they were energized by their work, they enjoyed their work, even though they had the same clients, they were working for the same agency, their professional life, as far as circumstances, were the same. So I became curious because I wanted to be part of the second group, the group that felt inspired and enjoyed their work day to day. Very early on, fortunately, I went to a training and I heard something that profoundly helped me in the area of burnout prevention. And what I heard was that every single human being has the potential to have a brand new idea or an insight that can transform their lives at any time. That any human being has the capacity a natural innate capacity for well-being, that human beings indeed can reflect and come up with their own solutions. The reason why this transformed my life professionally is because I was taught a different paradigm. I was taught a paradigm that the solution for the client, the solution for the kid, the answer had to come from me, not from them, right? So when I heard this idea of really the client, the kid can come up with their own solution, and I had seen that, you see, I had experienced that, I just hadn't noticed. So when I realized that, there was a huge sense of relief that happened in me, because the burden of solving people's life dissipated. I further understood that if I was going to be helpful, I needed to discover and see this capacity for well-being in the people that I work with. And I also needed to discover and highlight more the capacity for people to come up with their own insight. Absolutely, absolutely. This has helped me in all of my career. I actually have been working with people since I was 21. I am now 45. So do the math, right? It's been I started very young. It's been a little chunk of time. And I have worked in with people and in circumstances in areas that we could call them stressful. You know, I've worked in the jail system, as you know, with a minimum security and medium security, with people that have been separated from the main population in the jail because of their nature of their crimes, what they call protective custody. I have worked in schools with kids that are in gangs. I have worked with parents that are migrant parents in circumstances that are difficult financially and culturally. I have worked with executives that are experiencing a tremendous amount of tasks and responsibility. And today I can tell you that, of course, I get tired. You know, of course, there are many emails sometimes that I need to craft, but I never have felt a sense of burnout, actually. That's something that that has not happened to me. You know, I do get tired at times, of course, you know, but I've never felt overwhelmed by the situation. And the reason why is because as I enter the room, the platform that I stand on in order to be of help to people is the platform of well-being and the capacity for insight. So my job is not to be with a person to solve their problem or to give them advice or to tell them what to do or to teach them a technique. What I do is I come to the relationship, I come to the group, and I listen for little evidence of people's wisdom. And I also teach people this directly. I talk to people directly about the fact that they can have a brand new thought at any time, that they can have insight that can transform their lives, that the sense of well-being is alive in them in spite of their circumstances. So this is something also that I teach them very, very directly. So as people are sharing their experience or their examples with me, I use their life, the many examples of resiliency that they have in their own life, to make these capacities a little bit more alive for them, you know, to bring them to the center of the room. When your stand, when your platform is the platform of insight and well-being. It transforms your experience as a professional working with people. If it was up to me to solve people's circumstances or to give them advice, it just would be impossible. And I can understand from that perspective why people feel overwhelmed, right?
Yeah.
Because I only have my life experience. I only have a certain amount of academic understanding or skills or facts. But the truth is, here in the Silicon Valley, where I live, there are probably 100 different ethnic people from different ethnicities, ethnic backgrounds. There are many educational levels. There are many cultural experiences, right? That I just don't know what a person going through a divorce from China as an immigrant, I don't know their life experience. I couldn't possibly know their life experience. But I do know that all human beings have something in common. And what we have in common is a capacity for insight. So burnout, from my perspective and in my experience, comes from professionals standing on trying to solve problems, right? Or trying to teach techniques, or listening to the current circumstances that people are experiencing, because people can experience very compelling circumstances, very compelling, that are difficult, that they have a sense of tremendous stress or sadness and difficulty. When you keep your eye on the capacity for insight, if you do that, if you know that, as you discover that more as a professional, the whole game of helping people changes. And the result really is that you have almost like binoculars or lenses for wisdom. So you are able to bring it to the table, you're able to bring it to the room, you're able to show the individual how really every time they've recovered from maybe a bad moment, they may go back, but they have a capacity for recovery in the very same way that the body has a capacity for homeostasis, right? Psychologically or mentally, we also have the same capacity for recovery. So I think I was just so deeply grateful to come across that at the very beginning of my career, because honestly, I have been with people that, very young, very young children, that their life experience surpasses my life experience 10 times sometimes. I have been with executives that the amount of task and responsibility is tremendous, right? So I could possibly not come up with an answer for that. They are experts at that. They are experts at that. But sitting down and teaching them about this capacity that we have, not that we have to practice, but that exists, just has really transformed their lives. And as a result, allowed me to see people in a whole new way.
I'm kind of speechless. This has happened quite a few times with us recording these videos. I'm like, I want to hear more. You don't want you to stop. I know. And it's like, I really, as an organizer, I'm so looking forward to listening to all the speakers that we've invited to come along to the event, because what you've just been sharing, Gabriela, is so rich and so informative, and so I think for me it just felt like you were shedding a load off my back, sort of thing. It's like, oh yes, I don't have to have the answers. I don't have to have the solutions. I'm looking just being with them and helping them see what the key thing you said I heard for me was it's already there. It's already there. We've not got to add anything to their list of things to do. We've not got to add any more tools to the toolkit. It's like it's just helping people see what's already there and allowing them. Sue mentioned this in one of the videos before. It's about the hope. So we're offering that hope. When I hear you say the capacity for insight's always there, it's like, yeah, it's there for every single human being. And that's just like magic in a way.
It really, really, really is. And I was having this personal conversation with an executive at a company here in this area, and we did some coaching with her. And the amount of responsibility that she has now has increased from when I work with her. And the amount of tasks have increased. And everything has increased. And what she told me, she said, I'll be minding my own business in the middle of the day, and all of a sudden I get overwhelmed because really the amount of emails that she needs to respond to, the amount of tasks, the amount of meetings that she has to do is just so much that she'll start having a feeling of drowning, going under. And then she said, and then I'll remember that at any moment, I can have a thought that will make me look at this completely different. And knowing that I have a capacity to shift naturally and to look at the perspective differently has helped me so much, because it allows me to kind of step back a little bit. And a result of that, a result of understanding that you have this capacity is perspective. So I just love that example so much, because if I would have offered time management, for example, right? Or if I would have offered any other solution, given her load, it would have been impossible for her to incorporate because she's already so full. So I think that's the beautiful thing about talking about understanding, right? When you understand something, it just allows you to benefit from the system so much more.
Yeah.
And I am too very excited to learn, and I am too very excited to be in beautiful Spain. Right at the end of the year, November.
Yeah.
Right?
November for the winter sunshine.
Yes, November for the winter sunshine, and really discover together the possibility to do the work that we do with a renewed sense of inspiration and the passion, right, that brought us to this work.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you've been saying, we have the capacity for a new thought at any moment, which really keeps it fresh. And I love what you've just said. You're looking forward to learning and feeling inspired by listening to other speakers, just meeting other people even. So that's it. We've got to keep these short. We've probably already gone over our allotted time, but hey ho, it was just so rich. It just seemed I just wanted some more, but I'm going to stop it now. So thank you, Gabriela. I did actually forget to mention at the beginning, that you're actually working mainly with businesses now, aren't you? With True Change Consultants. That's the name of your company.
Yes, it's called True Change Consultants.
And so if people want to hear more about that, they can hear more about that at Viva.
They can.
Yeah.
And we look forward to being with
you.
We
absolutely do. Thank you for listening, all those that are listening. And thank you, Gabriela, for your time today. It's been brilliant.
Thank you, Sheila.
See you in Spain.
Okay. Adios.
Adios.